Hey, how you doing there again, folks? You got, of course, Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you. Another offering. Off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks. Sampler review series of videos I've been doing for a little while now. Go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff, I drink stuff, then, folks, I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff that time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. Thankfully, it's a little bit cooler this morning. Yesterday, I tried to do a review, and I was, like, drenched in sweat, and I just gave up on it. But we'll get to that. Folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there and try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm going to yammer on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck. Whilst I'm doing all that, folks, lamentably, I'm wearing grody work clothes. Typically, when I'm inside the truck and I'm wearing grody work clothes, that means I was on my way home from work. I found some shit to review for you. That is definitely the case today. Although this was specifically, like, I made a trek. Because, I went over there, got off work. Like I said, yesterday was just way, way too hot. I actually wanted to do this review yesterday. But it was just too much, man. Like, it was just too balmy and just too bullshit. Today, thankfully, the weather's calmed down a little bit. It's not too bad. So, I decided to go over there and hop out to a local spot that I haven't hit in a little bit and get myself a nice iced beverage. So, what did I get and where is it from? Boom! But what is this? This is the Dreamsicle Latte from Brewpoint Cafe in Elmhurst, Illinois. Ooh. And I've reviewed some stuff from Brewpoint before. They're like a little bit of a chain. I know there's more than one of them. I think they're kind of a, specifically sort of suburb kind of chain as far as I can tell. What with this being a review of a local establishment, by the way, it's going to end up on my Eating Out Illinois playlist, which is a playlist for just Illinois establishments. But yeah, this is part of their summer menu, and I saw it and was like, I need to be part of that. But what does a Dreamsicle Latte consist of? Well, it's apparently orange extract, white mocha, vanilla, espresso, and whole milk. Ooh. Let's get a thing for the thing. I mean, it's just a thing, but... Okie doke. Do you open from the thing? Or do I just open you? I don't know. It doesn't seem to open from the thing, so I'm going to open it. There's probably a way to do this that isn't stupid, but let's give it a go. Ooh. Okay. Alright. I get what they're going for here. The orange extract is really nice. I appreciate the fact that, like, it's not strictly just a sweet orange extract. There's, like, a little bit of sort of, like, a light kind of bitterness, because when you think of orange, like, it's not just sweet. It has a variety. It's a little bit acidic, you get sort of elements from the rind, so you do get a little bit of bitterness. I like that. And it's one of those things, like, I can go over there and say, I think I can pick out the mocha a little bit. I think I can pick out the vanilla. They're relatively subtle. So it's one of those things, is my brain just tricking itself, into knowing those things because I know what the ingredients are. But no, there's definitely something there. I think the vanilla more so than the mocha. I do get a little bit of a vibe from that. And it makes sense. You're trying to, recreate that dreamsicle kind of vibe. And I also like the fact that, at a glance, this could be like a dessert drink, basically. It's really not. Like, in so much as, if you've ever gone over there and added in, like, a flavored coffee creamer. That's about as desserty as it gets, because, like, it still has that latte essence to it. You're still getting the hit from the espresso. It doesn't feel like a little kid's drink, It actually does still feel like a nice, adult caffeinated beverage. I like it. Yeah. I kind of, in my head, I was expecting it to be sweeter and, again, more like a dessert drink, but I really like that it's not. Because the thing is, even though I'm not the biggest coffee fan in the world, despite the fact that I've reviewed plenty of stuff, I like coffee-adjacent things. I like things where you cram enough crap in it, it doesn't taste that much like coffee, typically. This kind of fills that role, but maybe it's just me getting older. I have learned to appreciate to a greater extent, the different sort of coffee elements and stuff. And I do appreciate the fact that, it still maintains that essence, that's still the core of it, and then they built on top of it. And it's one of the things that I've always given Brewpoint a lot of credit for, is the fact that I think that you can really taste the quality in their products. I've reviewed plenty of stuff from Dunkin', from Starbucks, and those, both have their places, like sometimes I want some Dunkin', sometimes I want some Starbucks. If I want a really nice coffee beverage or, coffee-related beverage, Brewpoint is the spot that I like to hit. And it's not just about supporting local businesses, although that's an added benefit, because at the end of the day, if a local business doesn't put out a quality product, but that's not the case with Brewpoint. Their stuff tastes really good, and they are one of those places that I do go over there, and especially if they're, people who are local, I do recommend them this spot. Whether or not they show up, I don't know. Two questions have to be asked, though. Would I get it again? Would I recommend it? And I have to go with yes and yes. I think this is a really nice drink. And while there have been some drinks from Brewpoint that I've had that, were maybe a little underwhelming, didn't quite perform to the extent that I was hoping, this is one of the ones where not only has it met my expectations, it certainly exceeded them. Because, again, I really did just figure it was going to be more of a cartoony, sort of gimmicky dessert drink, but instead what I got was a really well-crafted and very well-balanced beverage that, managed to hit on the points that it needed to hit on. It still does have that essence of, dreamsicle sort of aspect, the orange with, the mix of the vanilla and stuff like that. But at the same time, it's not trying to go super out of its way to recreate that flavor in a coffee. It's just, giving you a little taste of it while still being just, again, a nice, well-balanced coffee beverage. And I think that's really nice. If I'm recommending it, I'm absolutely recommending this one. I think that, I don't know that there's ever been anything from Brewpoint that I haven't recommended, but this is one of the ones that I would say, if I'm talking about sort of like the pantheon of drinks that I've had from Brewpoint, well, I wouldn't put this as being, my personal Zeus, king of the Brewpoint coffees. It certainly would be in that upper tier. I think everything about it is really nice. I think it exemplifies why Brewpoint is such a nice establishment. It just works for me. And I think that as much as I went into it kind of wanting it to be a goofy cartoon drink, I'm so happy that it wasn't. And I think that it makes it even that much more, makes me that much more able to go over there and recommend it to other people because, presumably if you're looking up a coffee review, you're probably an adult. Maybe you're not a good adult like me, but And if that's the case, then this is something where I can say, hey, this is something where you can go over there and enjoy a little bit of your childhood while still in a, an adult, well-crafted coffee setting. But 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of your month, stupendous rest of your year. Folks, go over there, have yourselves a truly dreamsicle-tastic rest of your life. Because, folks, come on now. Who doesn't enjoy a dreamsicle every now and again? Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what do you do if you can't do it all the time? I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Now, folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. When we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there, whenever possible, take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, do you have a favorite local coffee spot? And I mean, hey, nothing against Dunkin' or Starbucks or each chain location, but, like a cool local spot. Because for me personally, I'm not really a coffee person, so I really never sought out, like, a local spot. And it wasn't really until the last, maybe 2 or 3 years where, in part due to doing these reviews, it was like, well, maybe I should look around for some spots, and was lucky enough to find Brewpoint. Anyway,